There's just one thing we wanted to go and put up. The recording is in progress. We can start. This week's shir is a very special shir. We're talking about the week of Boi, and there's the famous joke. We're told that the last three makkos, the last three plagues, are hinted to in the name of the title of the portion Bo. But Bo only has two letters. Bo has a base and an aleph. Base is the Makkah, the plague of Bechoros, the smiting of the firstborn of the Egyptians. And Aleph is the Arbe, the locusts. And we're missing here one plague. Which plague is it? Obviously, you can't answer because you're muted. I'll help you out. The plague of Hoshech, the plague of darkness. So how can you say that the three last plagues are hinted to in the name of the portion when we only see two? Well, it's very obvious, as the joke goes. It's not a joke, but when we're talking about the third plague that is missing, the plague of darkness, darkness is something that you can't see, and therefore it's hinted to in the name Bo, but we can't see it because we're in darkness. The Eibusher should help that we should be taken out of darkness. We should see not the plague of darkness, but we should see the light of Mashiach and Teichef from Yad Mamash immediately now. This past Shabbos, there was a very special Shabbos. It was a Shabbos in the holy city of Tiberias, Tiberia, which is a city that we have the ability to see, to observe. And that's why it says, Tiberia, Ri'iyasa Teiva. The gazing upon the city of Tiberia is good. Why? Because it states that when we encounter water, we're supposed to say in the name of the Baal Shem Tov, that the Baal Shem Tov says that we should say in his name that when we encounter water, it's a siman bracha, it's a sign of blessing. And this is the factor that we have from Tzfas to have a continuous blessing and to gaze upon the beautiful waters of the Kinneret. But over there in Tiberia and Shabbos, there was a Shabbos Shekula Mashiach, the Shabbos that it was the 24 hours of the Shabbos was imbued totally with the concepts of Mashiach, the concepts of Geulah, and there were incredible stories that were told, incredible classes, shiurim that were told, even the Gashmias. It was in a beautiful venue, a beautiful hotel. Actually, the previous name of the hotel used to be the Bali Hotel. Today it's called Nof Kinneret, the scenery of the Kinneret. But the logo of the hotel is a very large letter K. So there are those that said that when you take the letter K and you connect it with the previous name Bali, so we get the words Kabbalah, Kabbalah li, Kabbalah unto me. So you see, we go and we convert hotels, and one of the most amazing stories, I seem to remember it from the past, but it was unbelievable and always refreshing to hear it. This story again. It's a story that has to do with Lag BaOmer, the Lag BaOmer parade that takes place on the whether it's on Sunday or whatever day. We have the Lag BaOmer parade by the Rebbe, and Lag BaOmer again is connected with the portion because it's connected with Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and as it states, the portion when we are going out of Egypt, it states very clearly that with this compilation of Kabbalistic compilation of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the Holy Zohar, we will march out of Galut, we will march out of exile. And so the story, as it was told, is as follows. There is a chassid in Crown Heights. He's originally from South America. I believe his name, if I'm not mistaken, is Lipsky. And if that is the name, or Lipsky, I remember him from my days in yeshiva in 770. and he told this following story firsthand. It happened to him. He had difficulties with his automobile, with his car, and he took his car to be fixed at a garage. When he arrived at the garage, so they told him that even though they told him a certain hour to arrive, they told him that he was early, and he'll have to wait until they get to the car, until they'll be able to fix it. It was an area that was very, it was not very pleasant, in the least, to say for a person that is Caucasian, let alone a person that is Jewish, with the with the garb of a Jew, a hat, a jacket, a beard, and he's waiting. Until he was waiting, so the schools were out, and the kids from high school, they're walking home, and they see that there's someone to play with, in inverted commas. So they started to go into to call names and to embarrass, and then one thing led to the other. He was taken aback, and he was very very uncomfortable. And when they saw that he was uncomfortable, so this was like they saw the button that they can push to have more fun. So one person came and gave a push, and it was not good. Out of the blue comes a really very large Afro-American individual, and he goes and stands between Rabbi Lipsky and all this all this crowd of high school students that are trying to have their amusement and entertainment, and he starts pushing them away, and he starts shouting at them, and what are you doing, and how dare you come and invade this poor person's privacy, leave him alone. And they started to push this fellow, and he was a really big, a tank, a giant of a fellow. He pushed them back until they understood that that's it. There's no more fun. The entertainment has come to its end, and they kept on walking. Then the fellow went and started to tend to the well-being of Rabbi Lipsky. He asked him if he's okay, if he can give him something, maybe water to drink, and he was in a state of shock. Rabbi Lipsky, he was looking at this, giant of a fellow, Afro-American, and he doesn't understand what in the world is going on. I mean, if anything, he would think that this fellow would join the crowd in the entertainment. And then this fellow saw that he's totally puzzled and shocked, and he says, "Listen, let me explain, and maybe I'll be able to clarify your puzzled vision of what happened here." He says, originally when he was a young boy, so he came with his mother from the islands, I don't know, something like Jamaica. And they came to the United States. They made Aliyah, right? They came to the United States, and where did they go to live? They went to live in Crown Heights. They went to live in Crown Heights on Empire Boulevard, and it was terrible. I mean, he said they barely had any money to have food, to have food at home. His mother worked from the morning till the evening. He would go to school, and at least at school, they provided a hot lunch. And when they provided the lunch, so he would eat a little bit, and he would take food home in his school bag, because he wanted to have food for his mother and a little bit for himself also. This is the way it went on from Monday to Friday. But when the weekend came, when Shabbos, Saturday, and Sunday came, those were the worst days of his life every week. Why? Because there was no food at home. He was not able to have any food. He didn't have anything to eat at school, and he didn't have any food to take home for his mother and himself. And he would suffer every Saturday and Sunday. He would just sit at home and suffer. One day, he says, one day he looked outside and he saw that something there was a transformation. Empire Boulevard turned into one large carnival. The streets were all ornamented, and there were unbelievable rides. There were Ferris wheels there. And what was outside? There were stands, food stands, with hot dogs and with all kinds of different unbelievable foods. And he says he started to drool, and his stomach was like, booming with the desire to go out and to eat. And then his mother comes, taps him on the shoulder gently, and he says, "No, my son, this is not for us. This is for the others. We aren't invited to this party." And it caused him unbelievable pain, to the extent that he was looking right out of his window on Empire Boulevard. Apparently, was very close to the road, and he started to cry. This young boy started to cry because he wanted so much to have something to eat, and all this food was right in front of his eyes, and he knew, at least his mother told him, that he wasn't able to partake from even a little morsel of food. Here, crying, a car, a big silver Cadillac, stopped right in front of his window. And a rabbi comes out. He didn't know this rabbi, that rabbi. Apparently, it was the Rebbe's secretary. He goes out and he goes right up to the window, and he knocks on the window. And the boy looks at him like he's terrified. What does this rabbi want from him? And the rabbi calls him outside. He says, "Please, if you can come outside." The boy saw that no one was threatening him, so he complied. He went out of his apartment and he went outside to the sidewalk. Then the rabbi took him by the hand and said, there's a rabbi inside the car that would like to talk to you." "Like to talk to me?" Okay. He comes to the car, and the Rebbe is sitting inside the car. And he looks at the boy, and the Rebbe takes out a $5 bill, and he gives it to the boy, and he says, "This is for you." The boy in those days, the boy never even saw a $5 bill in his hand. Then the Rebbe says, "1 second." The Rebbe reaches into his pocket, and the Rebbe takes out another $5 bill. And the Rebbe says, "This is for you to be able to buy from the concession stands, to have, to buy food, to go on the rides." And with this, the Rebbe bid the young boy farewell. And the boy went out of the Rebbe's car, closed the door, and with the money, he immediately, what did he do? He went over to the concession stands, and he went over to the hot dog stands, and he said, with waving the $5, he said, "How much food can I buy with this money?" Didn't even know $5. Now, the person that was standing by the stand, he was a Lubavitcher Chosid, and he wasn't a fool. He said, "Tell me something. Is this one of the bills that the rabbi from the car gave you?" And he nodded. He said, "Mm-hmm, yeah." So, listen to this. In the States, they have like a large reel of lottery tickets. It's a reel that with all lottery tickets with numbers. It's a very, very large wheel, and these were tickets that when you paid with money, you would get tickets, and with these tickets you can buy food, you can go on rides. It gave you rights in the carnival. This person said, if you give me the $5, this whole reel of tickets is yours. The boy opened his eyes almost popped out, and he said, hey man, of course, here, take the $5. And he received the whole round, the whole reel of tickets. And obviously, he said he went and he brought out as much as he could, all the stands with all the food. He took the food home and he said, Mama, this is from the rabbi. And his mother couldn't believe it. He said, what? Did you take this? He said, no, this is from the rabbi. I brought tickets and the man gave me all the tickets. It's all okay. And he said that he ate and he ate and he ate until he couldn't eat anymore. And he said that was the happiest Sunday that he can recall in his life. So he's talking to Rabbi Lipsky here, somewhere, I don't know, I think it was in the Bronx maybe. And he's telling him, this was later on, I realized that this is the leader of the entire, all the Jews. This is the head rabbi of the entire world. And when I saw later on, I understood that the rabbi was going out of his way to go and to take care of me, a young child of maybe 6 or 7 years old. That's all I was. So from then on, if I ever see a Jew that's in sorrows, that's in peril, I go out of my way to go and to help that Jew. And this is something that we have to understand, and we have to bring into our intellect and our understanding. If this is the way a person from the 70 nations of the world, a young child from the islands of Jamaica, received an eye-opener and was educated by the Rebbe to be able to go and to understand that he has to go and to continue his chesed, his kindness with the Jewish nation. So how much more us, when we understand and we learn and we receive all our education, all our insights from the Rebbe, that we have to go out of our way to go and to give Avas Yisrael, love for our fellow Jew, whether it's material food, hot dogs, or it's spiritual food, sitting down and learning Torah with someone. And then, as we are promised, there's the Gedela Tzedakah, Shemekareves Esagiula. Great is the concept of chesed, of charity. It brings and it hails and brings faster in the coming of the Geula Shleim of Amitis. And we should receive this with our exodus from Egypt in this week's parsha, next week's parsha, and it should be teichef umiyad mamash, immediately now. Yechi Adonenu Moreno V'Rabbeinu HaMelech Ha'Moshiach le'olam voed.